Our company's unique selling point is that we are a data-driven agent on behalf of our clients. We are disclosed when they want us to be disclosed, and we are undisclosed whenever they want us to be undisclosed. We can do anything from performance to branding, and I think we do a phenomenal job of that with data-driven insights.
So define mobile marketing.
Mobile marketing is basically merging into marketing, I would argue. There's really not a difference. If you're still using the word mobile marketing to differentiate your strategy, you're probably a couple years behind the marketplace. It's time to get on board. Let's call it marketing.
So with all the topics today, one-on-one, retargeting, device ID, influencer marketing, location intelligence, should these be viewed as a funnel when analyzing customers' behavior on mobile?
I think it varies by brand. I wouldn't say that it's not prudent of a brand to go into a situation and make assumptions such as designing a funnel around certain interactions with a consumer. Sometimes there's certain brands where it lives more as in a network, and there's different components that push you forward and backwards and hopefully help push that consumer towards something that's going to enhance their life, a product that's going to enhance their life. But if you go into it looking at it as a funnel for every single brand and look at it the same way, such as influencers being at the top, let's say hypothetically, then you're just not going to have a winning strategy.
So describe the current state of mobile.
Current state of mobile is, I think it's getting about as high as it's ever going to be in terms of targeting. The reporting that we get out of it, the targeting we're able to do with it. If we were to get better at it from a technology standpoint, we're going to start to get into some privacy issues. And frankly, I think I speak for everybody in the industry when I say, I don't want Congress coming into our ecosystem because it's not good for anybody, including consumers and frankly the internet at large. I think that we need to get much better with the operations around managing mobile, and I think that's equally applicable to marketing in general. I think everybody needs to start putting a stake in the ground and making their operations more automated, and that'll have a big impact in mobile so that we can free up a lot of that low-level work and start getting better with the analytics that we have available to us today that are frankly just being marginalized. We're being so focused on operations across the ecosystem that we're forgetting about all the great stuff that we do have and then complaining about it, unfortunately. So if we free up some of that low-level work, we can really focus on high-level work.
So where do you think the market pressure is coming from then?
Well, right now it's probably coming from procurements. The procurement divisions within the clients is taking a very hard position on pricing power, essentially, and unfortunately that loses a little bit of the art. That is a big component in executing media strategies. It's also a big component in creative as well, but when you have procurement on the client side, their focus immediately drives towards media instead of the creative side. And it's ironic because that's exactly what happened in the 80s. You had creative and media merged together. And where was the only place that you could justify savings because it was quantitative? Always media. So as you see these models re-merging, I guess you could say, the first thing procurement is going after is always media. And it's declining the quality of the media that they're consequently going to be able to get. Unfortunately, that's where so much of the pressure is right now, and it just revolves around pricing, and it's not a drive towards increasing quality with the same dollars.
Do you think it's important to view consumers as an omni-channel user?
Absolutely. Everything should start with a business goal, and then defining your audience. And then one of the final steps in the entire process really should be media allocation. It should be an audience-first model, and that's what's so important about having such a wealth of data at your disposal.
If you're omni-channel, if you view it as omni-channel, does that discount the mobile-first approach?
I don't know that there's a need for a mobile-first approach necessarily. It kind of goes back to the sales funnel question almost. For certain brands, perhaps mobile-first is the right approach. But what inside of that? Is it influencer inside of that? Is it just social banners? Is it video? I think it's more important to define your audience and then study them and understand what their needs are and how they're consuming content, and then design a plan accordingly, instead of coming in with a very, frankly, bias and injecting your bias or your prerogatives into that media plan of saying, well, we need to be mobile first because that's what the press is saying. Let's take a step back and really understand what's good for the brand.
What do you think the biggest marketing trend that emerged in 2017 is?
Well, from my side, being on the agency side, I think we're still in 2015 Pitch Palooza. It's amazing that I just still have not seen it really decline much. It's been so much time and effort and energy being put in that. But I would say the automation of audience analytics has been a huge one, and the second one is probably automation. Designing systems and being able to understand the audience, and then, just like I was saying, being able to flow that down in your media allocation. Yeah. That's a very, very important objective, at least for GroupM today. Other agencies are probably doing similar things, but might highlight it differently. I think that's a huge focus point of ours right now. And then couple that with our desire to automate so much of our low-level work without impact to our FTEs. We're not doing it in that way. We're doing it so that we can elevate our teams to focus on higher-level work.
Future prediction, what is it?
So I'm actually going to steal the number.
Okay.
This is the number question?
Well, the number question is going to be next, but if it's future number, go for it.
They're the same. So my prediction for the future, if you go out 5 years, my prediction is actually that we are going to have less targetable capabilities. I think that's an influence from GDPR happening in Europe right now. And it's also going to happen because of the Internet of Things. So as going to the number, my number is 4.3, and today you're dealing with 1.7 average devices per U.S. citizen, U.S. consumer, because that probably takes into account non-citizens. And by 2022, we're going to have 4.3 on average. Now, there's no way I can make that level of fragmentation of devices targetable. I can't, no technology is going to facilitate that. I can't do one-to-one anymore. So I'm going to have to very much focus on panel-based solutions, and we're going to have to get very, very good at that in the coming years. There's going to be things that aren't going into a bid stream, just like in programmatic. Bid streams are a very good wealth of information. Yes, I'll still be able to use that, but I'm not going to be able to use it for targeting Alexa. When there's only, in Alexa, the difference is that I don't have 5 different search terms that populate, I have one. I have one opportunity to be successful and get in front of that consumer. And then you multiply that by 4.3 devices on average for the U.S. consumer base. We're talking a very fragmented list of things that I need to be able to accomplish, and I don't believe that we're going to be able to do that with the targeting that we're accustomed to today. And we're going to have to deal with that fact and get more comfortable with panel-based solutions.